All right, we're here in Studio 125 in San Antonio. I have my beautiful friend and photographer, Alora, going to be our subject for today. Thank you so much for helping out.
Thank you.
So let's start off with the most basic setup. If you only have one flash, now this is a wireless flash. They're not that expensive. I'll list prices later in the video and show you what to buy. But if you just have one light, what I prefer to do, if I'm shooting straight on in front of my subject, I don't want my light right here. I don't want my light on my camera because it's going to look flat and boring. I want my light off to one side or the other, and I almost always start at a 45-degree difference from where I am. So if I'm 0, this is 45 degrees rotated with her being the center of my imaginary circle. I could go this way, but the camera's right there. So I'm going to go over here, and let's get my flash controller turned on and make sure my flash is turned on, which it is, and it is Group A. So Group A is on top of my controller. I can control the power here. I am using manual flash. I don't like using TTL, which is automatic power for flash, because it's guessing and it's trying to adjust in real time, which I don't like. I like to have control over my lighting. So we're going to do manual mode. So with my flash controller actually turned off, so no flash, I'm going to do a test photo to see what the ambient light looks like. You always want to start with your ambient light, and it is really dark right now, so it's having trouble focusing. There we go. So that is natural light. I'm getting some just ceiling light in the studio. You can turn off your lights if you want. But this is pretty dark, and I don't think it's going to interfere with my photo a lot. If I even drop my ISO more, it's a horrible photo, super underexposed. So let's turn my controller on, which means this thing's going to be controlled. And right now, I have this flash at 1/64th power. Right? It's a fraction, not 1/1, which would be 100% full power, 1/64th. So let's see what that looks like. And this light I'm firing with is a Godox AD200. Awesome. So not bad for a first test photo. We do have some eye shadows and some hair shadows because this is so far to the left. So I'm going to move it a little bit closer to my 0 line, so it's not quite a 45 anymore. Let's do that same pose and same angle. 1, 2, 3. Awesome, much better. Less shadow on her face. And it's looking nice. So this is kind of generally my starting point is up high, angled down at a 45, and over to the left at a 30 to 45. So let's add a second light and see what we can do with that. All right, so I'm going to add a rim light, which is in a strip box. I'm not sure if it'll be in the camera, but I have it over here on the side. Right here, let's move it in. Awesome. So it has a diffusing cloth, which is white, and then a grid, which will help the light go straight forward and not spray all over my scene. All right, and this flash is actually a speed light. You can see it just barely. There we go. So that is just a little speed light. We don't need a whole lot of power because it's just her edge and hair light. And I'm going to turn that on as Group B so I can control them separately. I'm going to put this at 1/64th. So they're technically the same power number, but this flash is actually much weaker because it's a smaller powered light. So let's see what this looks like. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. I can already see some glow on her hair. It's a little weak, so I'm going to double it. I'm going to go up to quadruple it, 1/16, 1/16th power. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there we go. Look at that nice side light from behind you. It's not obnoxious, but it gives you separation. If you're shooting in front of a dark background, you really need that separation, or they'll just kind of disappear on their dark side. Their shadows will blend in with the dark background. Not great. So separation is what we're going for. And because of the shape of that light, it's very tall, which covers her body shape, and it's very narrow, like she is. So it's not going all over the place like this thing is. It's just shooting a skinny rectangle right at her back, and I really like that look. Okay, so let's add in a third light, all right? So I'm going to get another light over here that has another softbox, just like this one. I'm going to use this as a fill light. You may have noticed in some of the photos there is definitely some shadows coming up on her face. That's just because the light over here is casting shadows over there. So we're going to cancel out some of those shadows or fill them in with light, which is why it's called a fill light. So I'm going to turn this thing on. I'm going to make it Group C. Again, so we have total control. There we go. And I'm going to put it right around eye level. Doesn't have to be up high or anything. And it's going to fill in some of those shadows. We want this definitely to be a lot weaker than this one. Your main light is called your key light. That's your hair light in this case, or rim or side light. And then this is our fill light. So let's turn on C, and let's put it pretty weak. Let's try 1/128, which is the weakest it can go. And I'm not changing any of the other lights. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now that's looking like a school portrait right there. That looks like a school photo because it's just so soft. And, oh shoot, I don't even have my diffusion cloth on that light. So my fill light is the same softbox as this, which is a 35-inch wide parabolic, which means it's a curve, and it has a diffusion cloth in the front, which is this white cloth. It just makes the light kind of evenly go forwards. Instead of really bright in the middle and weak on the ends, it tries its best to smooth out the lighting and make it soft, which is what soft lighting is. So I'm going to shoot this again, and this fill light is at 1/28, which is half the power of my key light. And this looks like a nice school portrait. Like, see how it's just nice and, it's not really creative, it's not really like popping, but it just has nice light kind of everywhere. And that's really up to your style. If you want to go for that traditional school portrait look or like a traditional headshot, you're going to want even lighting. If you want to go for more for the creative side, you may want to have stronger side light or stronger above light, less fill light. It's really up to your style. And that's the fun thing about this type of work is you get to find your style and play around with it. Now, if we want to get crazy and get a fourth light, you may be saying, I'll never be able to afford a fourth light. Well, you'll get there eventually, and these are actually maybe $150. They're not that expensive for what they are, and I have used these for many, many years, so they last a long time. Now, what I'm doing with this light is I'm going to put this right behind her, and it's not going to shoot her, it's going to shoot at the wall. Okay, so I have a speed light directly behind her body, not shooting at her, but actually shooting at the wall behind her, which is going to cause a nice little bloom of light behind her body. So let's turn on D. I rarely do a 4-light setup, by the way. I'm being really extra for you guys. Let's see what this looks like. All right, 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's cool. That's a lot of light behind her. Probably too much. I would turn that down. It's a little distracting. I'm like, hey, she looks nice. And I'm like, what is all that light behind her? It's very distracting. So let's turn that down, maybe 128. And color gels would be nice for a backlight to have some kind of mood or something, whether I like a cooler, bluer background or a warmer orange background. It's really up to the outfit and the background you already have. So let's try this. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's better. Not bad. And I did that pretty quick. Now, I've done this a lot of times, so it's a little easier for me, and it's less intimidating because I've experimented with these a lot. Hopefully you can see there's a lot of possibility. So experiment with different light values, different balances of light. Maybe you just want to use one light and then have a reflector over here. You can have a V-flat, which is just a big piece of white, like wood or paper that can reflect light. You can move them around your subject and they're really tall. So one light with a V-flat or a reflector at the right place can really do some magical portraits. So experiment and have fun. Another tip is you don't need to shoot at your widest aperture. If you have an f1.8 lens or 2.8 lens, you don't need to shoot at 2.8. You can shoot at f4 or even f8 or 11 if you want that sharpness. If you need a sharp image, shoot with a high aperture number like f4 or a larger number, and you'll get that tack sharp goodness that looks professional. You won't have their nose in focus but their eyes soft, or their eyes in focus but their nose blurry. That will happen if you're close enough at f1.8. So be aware of your depth of field and don't just feel like you have to shoot wide open with your aperture. I have changed to my 50mm lens so that I can be closer to her and not have to be so far away. That's a benefit of 50mm, although I do prefer longer lenses when doing headshots. When I do just actual traditional headshots, I'll use a 100mm. If you have an 85, those are great. Or just a zoom lens. Those kit 75 to 300 that everyone gets when they start. Zoom all the way into maybe 200 and shoot at f8 or f11. You can get some really good results if your lights are bright enough. So I'm at 50mm. I'm going to have her actually face straight towards me, which I rarely do with women. You just have to be careful if it's unflattering to their body. Draped across, yeah, just like that. Cool, so this is kind of a more raw, in-your-face, like documentary style pose. Looks great. I'm gonna move my light a little bit. Get some more light on your face. Awesome, let's look to your right. So I'm having her turn your head more, towards the light side where the key light is. She's turning her head to her right, which is over here. Turning even more, look all the way to that wall. So this, even though her body, I want your body towards me, but your head towards the wall. You just turn your neck, yeah. So this is kind of like a profile shot with the key light on her face. And it's just a nice dramatic look. I really like how that looks. Let's do a few more. Let me have you stand up with no stool. And I'm going to turn this light towards you. I'm going to flip this around, do something different. I like that figure of speech that says you learn the rules so you know when to break them. So you learn the normal so that you know you have like a vocabulary to use to break those rules and do something outside the box. So instead of the light lighting up her background, now it's gonna light up her back. Scoot a little bit this way. I'll get you right, yeah, that way a little bit. There you go, cool. So now the light's hitting her in the back. Let's do thumbs in your pocket. Put your weight on your back leg and your other leg just relaxed out front. Yeah, just like that. Hair looks good, awesome. Let me fix this light. Make sure it's aiming at you. Always make sure your backlight or your hair light is actually aimed at them. If you move them, they may step out of that light cone. So she's in the spot. 1, 2, 3. Cool. I'm gonna turn up that backlight all the way. Let's see what happens if my light is all the way up. Wow, you get a little halo, a little glowing around her hair. It's not a lot because it's down low. If I had it up behind her head, it'd be like a little glowing angelic halo going on. You may or may not want that. Another cool trick is to step forwards, put a large softbox behind someone's head if you're doing a headshot with the diffuser, mind you. I'm going to turn this light up all the way and see what happens. So stand in front of it, face towards where I was, yeah. Awesome. And that is light, which letter is this? I have so many letters now. C, I believe, because key is A, hair is B, fill is C. And we're going to turn up C all the way. I'm going to turn this guy off, actually. Bloop. And then C all the way to 1/1, full power. It might be terrible, but it might be awesome. Huh, okay. Little hazy white background.
Oh, I think that's cool.
So yeah, it's not terrible. And I'm shooting at f22, by the way. I never shoot at f22 because it's just so tiny and so dark. But what's happening is this light is going around her head and into my lens, which is causing a little bit of haze and some glare. So you may like that if you're going for like a vintage effect. I think it's kind of cool and dreamy. Let's do a 2-light setup where I'm going to have a softbox on one side of her head and then a softbox on the other side. Okay, so she is sandwiched between these 2 lights. I'm going to turn off everything except for those. So no hair light, no backlight, just key and what was the fill. Now they're just side lights. All right, let's see what this looks like. Let's do with no flash. Oh, there's nothing, it's just black. So that's good. 1, 2, 3. Cool, oh my gosh.
Oh, that's cool.
That is so cool. If only you had a football, like some black paint in your cheeks. Yeah, a sword or something, yeah. Let's do arms crossed. 1, 2, 3. Cool. Take a little step backwards. We'll do the same thing, okay? 1, 2, 3. Awesome. So what I did there was, with her in the middle, there is some dark shadows down the center line of her face. But when I moved her back, now there's more light hitting the rest of her face. So her face is actually better illuminated when she's further back. So if you want that dark line, the more crispy, dramatic shadow, don't let any fill light hit their front of their face, but it's really up to where you place them. So there you have it. Hope that gave you some inspiring ideas and things to think about. Again, if you want recommendations for different levels of light costs and light qualities, I'll send those to you from beginner to intermediate to advanced. There's a whole range of products out there that are very affordable. My favorite brand is Godox. They're good quality and they're not super expensive. But if you have any comments, ask in the comments down below, and thanks for watching.